For as long as we've had important documents, degrees, licenses, you name it, we've had fakes. It's this huge, nagging problem of trust. But what if a technology could just end it for good? Well, today we're diving into a research paper that proposes exactly that, using blockchain to make document fraud a thing of the past.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. If a new job asked you to prove your university degree is 100% authentic, right now, how would you even do that? Would you have to call the registrar's office? Wait weeks for some official stamped piece of paper? It's way harder and slower than it should be, and that's the exact problem we're tackling today.
And this really breaks it down, right? It's like night and day. On the left, you've got the world we live in now, slow, manual, and super vulnerable to fakes. But on the right, you see the promise of blockchain, instant, totally secure, and built on trust. This is the huge shift we're about to explore.
So here's our game plan. First, we've got to understand what's so broken about paper and old systems. Then, we'll get into the tech that fixes it, this thing called the digital ledger. After that, we'll walk through exactly how it all works, see what happens when it's put into action, and finally, we'll look at what the future could hold.
All right, first up, let's really dig into the core issue here, the fundamental problem with paper and the massive hidden costs of all those fake credentials out there.
I mean, the old way is just a mess. You're talking about a person, a human being, who literally has to make phone calls or go digging through some dusty filing cabinet. It's slow, it costs a ton of money, and let's be honest, paper is ridiculously easy to forge. Even the more modern systems usually rely on one single database. And if that one database gets hacked, poof, everything's compromised. It is a massive single point of failure.
So there's got to be a better way, right? Of course there is. And that brings us to the solution at the heart of this paper, a totally new kind of digital ledger built with blockchain technology.
Okay, so what is a blockchain? The easiest way to think about it is like a digital record book. But, and this is the key, instead of one person or a company holding that book, it's copied and shared across a massive network of computers. It's decentralized. That means nobody owns it, and more importantly, there's no single weak spot to attack.
And this leads us to the technology's real superpower. It's immutable. That's just a fancy way of saying that once a piece of information is recorded on the blockchain, it is locked in forever. You can't change it, you can't delete it, it's permanent. This creates a perfect, unchangeable record of the truth, which is exactly what you want for verifying important documents.
So how does the system prove a document is real without actually putting your private diploma on a public blockchain? Well, it uses something brilliant called a cryptographic hash. Just think of it as a unique digital fingerprint. The system takes your document, say a PDF of your degree, and creates this one-of-a-kind code for it. Now here's the magic. If you change a single comma, even one pixel in that document, the digital fingerprint changes completely. There's no hiding it.
Okay, so we've got the key ingredients: a decentralized ledger, permanent records, and digital fingerprints. Now let's see how they all come together. The whole system really just boils down to a super simple two-step process.
So, first we have the issuance process. This is the part where a trusted institution, like your university, officially creates and secures a certificate that can be verified by anyone.
Let's walk through this. It's actually really simple. First, the university uploads the student's official certificate. Instantly, the system creates that unique digital fingerprint, the hash. Then that hash, and only the hash, not the document itself, gets recorded on the blockchain, tied to something like a student ID. And boom, that's it. The certificate is now officially issued and totally secure.
Now for part two, the other side of the coin, the verification. This is what an employer or anyone else does when they get that certificate and need to know for sure that it's the real deal.
And this part is just as elegant. The employer just uploads the file they were given. The system instantly generates a new digital fingerprint from that document. Then it scans the entire blockchain looking for an exact match. If it finds one, bingo, the document is 100% authentic. If the fingerprints don't match, it means something, anything, was changed, and it gets flagged immediately. No calls, no waiting, just a clear, instant yes or no.
So the theory sounds pretty solid, right? But what actually happens when you put a system like this out into the real world? What's the impact?
Well, the benefits are kind of massive. First, it basically eliminates forgeries because any tiny alteration is caught instantly. It guarantees the integrity of the data. The whole process becomes incredibly transparent, which builds trust for everyone involved.
Plus, you can say goodbye to those slow, expensive middleman verification services, which saves a ton of time and money.
But maybe the most jaw-dropping result from the study, the speed. A process that used to take hours, sometimes even days of manual work, can now be done in seconds. Instant verification. For things like hiring or college admissions, that's an absolute game changer.
And this quote from the research really hits the nail on the head. It's all about trust. Because the blockchain keeps a perfect, unchangeable audit trail, everyone can see what's happening. This transparency just dissolves arguments about whether a document is real or not. The proof is right there.
Look, this is already an incredible leap forward, but the paper makes it clear that this is really just the beginning. So what's next? What does the future of digital trust look like? I mean, the potential here is huge. Think about mobile apps, so you can verify a document on the go from anywhere. You could layer in AI to spot sophisticated fraud patterns. This could plug right into national digital ID systems, and this doesn't have to stop at education. Imagine this for healthcare records, government IDs, property deeds, legal contracts, any sector where knowing a document is real is absolutely crucial.
Which brings us to this final, pretty powerful question. If we can give every important document its own unique, unchangeable digital fingerprint and store it on a secure public ledger, could we actually be on the verge of ending document fraud for good? Based on this research, the answer looks more like a yes than ever before.